Hello, welcome back. I hope you're doing very well. Today we're going to take a little look at a new instrument by Native Instruments, which is called Playbox. Now I know quite a lot of people bought the Force because they don't want to use a DAW, in which case this isn't going to be for you particularly. But if you do use a DAW, this is an absolutely brilliant source of samples and in particular making melodic kits. And I'm going to show you why that's the case and how I use it now. Just to get the money side of things out of the way, this app as a standalone kind of instrument for Contact, I believe it runs in, is 120 quid at the moment, which is obviously quite a lot of money. However, it is included in Complete Now, which is Native Instruments subscription service, which is £10 a month, I believe. So if you've got that already, you can just install this straight away. And if you were kind of on the edge of buying it or signing up for it, this could be the thing that tips you over the edge. I love that service because I like Battery and Massive X. So it seems worth the money to me. But anyway, let's get on with Playbox. And I'm going to show you how I use it with the Force. So without doing a massive tutorial, Playbox is a sample-based instrument and it has about 300 presets built into it, which is kind of half the story. I'll show you some of that stuff now. But we're looking at the preset screen here. We can see we've got a bunch of different presets, and then we've got these three sections along the bottom here. So when you select a preset, it basically does three things. It creates a chord progression for you. It stacks a load of samples onto each of those chord progressions, and then it applies a load of effects to it. And as you can just see from this screen, it's a really comprehensive effects section. So to make sense of that, and this is why I love this so much, excuse me, the chord set is in a key, and you can choose this key, you can lock it to whatever scale key you want it to be, but it will naturally apply one based on the samples in a way that will make them sound the best. So it creates this set of eight chords in a progression, which you play with one finger on 8 keys of the keyboard. And those chords, so we've got F, C sharp 3, A sharp 2 is our first one, so forth. And so these 8 kind of chords are played by these 8 stacks of samples. So just to give you an example of what this sounds like. So as you can see, it sounds wonderful, and it's created this lovely chord progression for us as well. So if we just select a different preset, you'll see that it's created a completely different set of chords for us, and we've got a different stack of samples as well. I hope you can see that on the screen as I'm playing these, like a white box is coming around to show you which of these stacks is playing. So let's just give you another preset. Let's give another example. So as you can see, the possibilities are pretty huge just off the bat. If we go to the preset manager, we've got a bunch of different categories here. So we were in voices there. We can go to, we were in instruments. We can go to synths, see what this one sounds like. And when we drop into each of these sections, you can see that we've got these little dice here, which means we're not limited to the samples that it's applied. We can randomize, or we can hit the little the magnifying glass and we can pick our own samples from the factory presets. We can also load our own samples in as well. So while there are like 350 presets, the combinations and the possibilities are absolutely endless. But I'm not going to get into that in huge detail. What I want to do is show you why it's great for the Force. So I'm going to go into the preset manager and into voices, and I have one that I've selected here. I Am Your Llama, which is an excellent name. So that's created this chord set here in the key of C sharp minor. So on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is, we're in Ableton Live here, and I have created just a little MIDI clip which just has each of those 8 keys or chords as a little progression in a clip. So if I play that now, you get the idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sample that progression. Now, when I'm sampling stuff to chop up, I generally turn off reverb and delay, just because when you're making chops, the tails can make life a bit difficult for you. So I turn the effects off and then I reapply effects in Force. Okay, so I've created a audio track here, and I am going to sample this little loop here. So I've just armed that and armed the track. Sorry, that's a bit loud. Okay, that's done. I'm going to drag this clip so it's a perfect loop. And I'm going to rename the track Resample, just so I know what I'm doing. Okay, so all I need to do now is bounce this audio file out. So I'm going to go to export. I'm not going to export the master. I'm going to export Resample, which is the track we just created. And we're going to send it to, where are we? Force Tutorials. Playbox. Bosh. Okay, another thing I love about Playbox is if we go to the chords page here, you can see that we have this option here to drag MIDI. So if we grab this little kind of handle and drag it onto an empty track, you can see that it has exported our chords. So this isn't just these notes that we were playing to trigger the chords, these are the actual notes in the chord as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this so that it's the same kind of length as our progression, and then I'm going to show you how to export this and turn the MIDI file into a program clip that we can use in the Force, but I'll speed this bit up in the video. Okay, you can see we've now got a MIDI clip which mirrors the timing of the progression that we recorded. So to export this, we just right click on it and say export MIDI clip. And we're in the right folder, Force Tutorials, Playbox. So we're going to call this MIDI clip and export it. And the reason I've done that is that we're going to chop up this sample and use it to create a melodic kit. But then we've got the chords that we can use in the same progression that we can then apply synths to in the Force. So I'm just going to show you, obviously this was a MIDI clip that we've exported, which doesn't work with Ableton, with the Force, but I found a little website here and I'll put a link to it in the description. It will transform or convert a MIDI file into a program file that we can use on an Akai device. So we just click choose file, we go to Maxbox Music, that's me, where are we? Force Tutorials, Playbox, and this is our MIDI clip. So we create that and you can see that it's basically turned that into a program file, which we just click this button here and it's downloaded it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag over both the sample we created and that MIDI clip and put them onto the Force, and then we'll come back and I'll onto the Force and I'll show you how to use them. Okay, we're back on the Force and this next bit is very quick and simple. This is the chord progression that we sampled out of Playbox. I've just transferred it onto the Force. I normalized it so we've got a nice audio level. Now, because we recorded this clip with those nice kind of evenly spaced MIDI notes, to chop this up and turn it into a kit, we can use the regions setting and just bring it down to 8, because we had 8 chords. And you can see that it's put the slices in exactly the right places for us. Exactly what we wanted. So we're going to press Shift and Convert, and we're going to turn it into a new drum track with pad parameters. I always choose that. I think it's easier to adjust the slice points after you've created the kit. Press Do It. And now if we go to matrix mode, you'll see we've got our new kit here. So if we go into note mode, that's our kit that we've just created. So we've got a lovely 8 chord progression that we can use. And obviously you can re-chop it, re-sample it, re-mangle it, slice it, do it, whatever you want. But we've basically got 8 chords in a progression that work together now. So the other thing I did was I brought in the MIDI clip that we created. So I've just got a pad sound loaded onto HypeSynth here. This is what it sounds like. So if we go to launch mode and we just select our first clip and then press load, this is where I've saved everything, and I've got the MIDI clip that we created here. So if I load that in, it's now going to load those MIDI notes into the synth track we've just created. So if we play it now, we go to clip, we can see it. These are the chords we created. So if we go back to our kit we created, we can now play along with it. So I'm sure you can see the beauty of this. We've got these lovely chord progressions which have been created for us. We've got some really lovely sounds with them. And then by bringing the MIDI clips in, we've got all of the chords that we can use. We can apply to synths, to key group instruments. We've basically spent 10 minutes messing around on Playbox, created a melodic kit and a chord progression. We've got everything we really need to make a song now. We don't have to use this in the same order. We can chop this MIDI clip up and rearrange it. We can rearrange or re-chop our melodic kit that we've created. It's a brilliant starting point for basically the foundation of a whole new song or a whole new track. And as I said, the number of kits or presets in Playbox is and the combinations that you can create is almost limitless. The thing I forgot to mention when we were looking at on the computer is when I said that you can drag your own samples into Playbox, it also does automatic key detection for them as well. So there's no messing about trying to tune them. If you want to just bring in a load of samples, it will automatically detect what the root note is and put them into the right key and all that stuff. So it's brilliant. So as you can see, as a source of melodic kits and chord progressions, I really think Playbox is a brilliant thing to mess around with. If you've got the Complete Now subscription service, you've already got it. You just need to go into Native Access and install it. If you've been kind of on the verge of signing up for that, I reckon this is the thing that will tip you over the edge. Anyway, I hope that was useful. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.